bring on my money. Drop some money. All this stuff so yummy. Twerking when I buy the things I like. Dollars dropping on my ass tonight. Everyone silent. Listen to my money talk.